Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning trading room. Hang on here a second as I just finish with my charts. Yesterday's roller coaster continuing into the close and a little bit through the overnight as well. Overall, the market not really moving all that far. We'll take a look here at a daily chart in a moment. Get a better perspective. Oh, I guess really it did have a little bit of a bearish slant to it. The day before, one of these doji style bars, which you don't really ever know what to make of. Doji bars, by their very nature, are indecisive. So we've had a strong move lower. We've had a little bit of a rebound. Now we're getting another strong move lower. So I don't know. Are we going to make a run here at 6,600, which would be the bottom end of this trading range? Is the market going to turn? We could see there was some buying originate here around 6,700. We're kind of at one of those crossroads for the marketplace. Early on, it's looking like the market could be a little bit more to the short side. Here, our first in-sync signal. Oh, no, sorry, correction. This was our first in-sync signal here, right on the opening buzzer. And one of the few times that strategy not working out. But it's still very early. We're only a couple of minutes into the day. I'm going to try hard not to do something stupid. Oh, and we might be getting a trend change going on now here in the raptor. The clouds crossing over nicely. Likewise with the eagle, the hawk and the falcon both got bullish early, the hawk more so. And I almost thought we were going to see a late filter entry signal develop here on the falcon before this major move lower once again. Well, major, relatively speaking. It looks as though, oh, I don't know. Are we going to get bullish here? We're starting to make higher swing lows. And we have breached now we've breached two significant resistance points. Okay, so I think it's safe to say the market could be getting a little bit more bullish at this point. Actually, I should leave this line right here. We'll look now for the retest. I wonder if that was it. That would have come awfully quick. Well, the band's getting a little bit broad here. We're about almost 60 ticks broad. All right, so now the retest. And now that we know where this top end of the breakout is, we could throw a buy order in there. If this breakout is going to hold after all, the market should continue moving higher. We're also getting a red bar buy, so a good opportunity to get in a little bit earlier on that. Oh, they did take it long. I was just going to look here for some follow-up signals, but before I do that, I guess I'd better get a stop and play. They're hesitating a little on this test of the breakout again. Come on, get up there. Well, that's close enough to the break even. I'm just going to force the trade up there now. Ooh. We'll see here in a moment whether that was a good idea or not. Oh, no. Maybe I was a little bit too quick with that. The market not hitting my stops just yet. But hesitating, so all right, they did tag me. So it does look like it wasn't that bad of an idea. I would have minimized my risk anyhow, but I'll always take a break even to a stop out. Well, and now the bottom is starting to soften. right, here a number 1 signal. We've had several nice signals here on the Hawk, and because of the tighter objective in the Hawk, a lot of these signals, it doesn't take much to make them profitable. There's a nice little macro pullback, quick little move. Another first micro macro cross, another quick little move. Here now the first micro macro cross higher, that unfolded just a little bit too quickly for me to even reach over and hit my buy market button. Waffling. That's what we're doing today, just waffling. It looks as though we do have a bit of a trading range that we can identify now. So that could be helpful when and if we ever identify a breakout. Oh, look at them go. I avoided, I know we had some Hawk signals here, and like I said, the Hawk, because of its profit objective, not usually a problem to hit the profit objective off any of the high probability signals. I did entertain in my mind the trend change signal here in the Falcon, but because we were kind of trading in the middle of this trading range, I decided to let it go. If I'm correct that this is a sideways trading range, the market is going to tend to be bearish here in the top and bullish near the bottom and very neutral in the middle, which is where that Falcon signal developed, which was why I was a little reluctant to get on board. We're getting some follow-up signals here now. Okay, and now we've got the breakout again. Ooh, look at that go. All right, this is a major retest coming. And once again, now that we know where the top end of this breakout is, well, we can just throw an order up there. In fact, here you go. Here's something really aggressive. You can try to short the market back to the retest. How's that for a strategy? And there it goes. course, if this retest does not stick, the market's going to try to move all the way down here toward the bottom end of the trading range. So it could be a very, very profitable kind of move. You could also, if you want to be more aggressive, you could bring this trade in now and look to buy that bounce of the retest. There is your buy signal right there. Oh, I don't know. Not giving me a warm, fuzzy feeling. Look at this. Well, we are into the hard edge. That's the good news. The Raptor very twisted up. The Hawk and the Eagle both more bearish right now. No shortage of activity. Okay, here comes the red bar buy attempt on the Eagle. We've got the warning dot. I'm not really crazy about how deep we've gone back inside this trading range, but if they go any lower, I won't need to worry about it. Stephen writes, trading this week has humbled me. So many trades, so many break-evens. With so many trades, it's been tough. It has been a difficult week. And there's nothing quite like trading to instill humility. Just when you think you got a handle on things. All right, the Hawk, the Falcon, both a little bit more bullish at this point. I'm still considering, the breakout move, that this is a retest. We've got another reactionary point here. This is where the sellers are showing their hand. Sellers are saying this is where we are. So buyers are down here, sellers are up here. We could even do an OCO style trade, which I'm not, but it is an option. So got filled to the long side, got the break even. In a moment here, if I get another bullish bar. No, I was going to say I'll move to a more aggressive stop strategy. Here we go with a red bar buy, so it's looking maybe moderately bullish. I don't know. We're still in the sideways trading range. Yeah, Steven says I was short from 67.94 up $80 per contract. So I moved my stop up to $20 per contract, and it took me out. And and then of course the market kept going. Ugh. Yes, I know. I feel your pain. To be fair, there is a little bit more volatility in here than we normally see. And I don't think the market has really settled in which way it wants to go today either. We keep testing breakouts, we keep seeing failures. Now we're here to the median line. So we took a nice bounce off the primary resistance, drifted all the way back down here to the median line, and now it looks like we may try to get bullish again. Go figure. Actually produced a number 2 signal. Okay, the hawk back into yellow bars. We're getting to be in the neighborhood of where the buyers picked it up this morning. Buyers rallying off of 67.40. We're kind of in that neighborhood, not quite, but close. First micro macro cross now to buy on the hawk. So there's an excuse to try to get long. Well, they slipped me a tick or two, but no difficulty getting to the profit objective. I was going to try to run that one out, but I'll take it. Maybe today, the way it is, just grabbing a couple of bucks here and there is the way to go. And now we're back again to the hard edges on the Eagle and the Raptor. Got a little number 3 signal with a second push attempt. So that allows us to look to re-enter the market on some renewed momentum, there is some room here to try to profit or at least do something with your trade before we get back down here too close to the recent lows. Nope, I'm not going to have it. All right, we'll put that away. And the waffling continues. Those of you following an ADX or momentum type indicator, I bet you it's really, really low. Okay, so the eagle giving us a little bit of a bear flag type flavor, maybe. So the lows of the morning way down here. But here's that broader trading range that we were looking at. Actually, I suppose we could even go like this. We're stuck. If these lows hold, the lows that we're looking at right now, if this area holds and we breach this high, I think we could expect the market to continue higher. If it fails, well, then we could expect the market to continue lower because this is either going to be a bottom and this is a test of the extreme, or it's going to be a bear flag and the market's going to head lower. So, you know what? You could do an OCO order again. You could just throw a buy order in above here. You could throw a sell order in below here. Oh, or did they go too far? Yeah, they went too far. Could have shorted from below here. Well, maybe I should place my orders first and explain things later. That turned out to be a nice little move to the short side. And here come the buyers again. So there's definite sensitivity around that 67.50 zone. That's where the buyers are stepping in. And I was going to say, you could just arbitrarily take a buy signal here. The Falcon, a nice little trend change signal. First micro macro cross here on the Hawk, no problem there. The Eagle turning over now. And the Raptor, maybe working here an early trend change signal. Okay, there it is. There's the early signal. Let's see if I get a second push on it. This is actually going to be the proper #1 signal, the proper cloud crossover. If we get it. Right now, we're just seeing a warning dot. Oh, look at that. They're tailing off again. All right. Let's put that away before we hurt ourselves. Oh, wow. If you were really concentrating today, this could be a very, very profitable day because we're seeing some very strong moves higher and lower. Really good follow through on almost all the signals. But your concentration, you would have to be very, very sharp today. The Hawk right now may be the most responsive on the various signals. Okay, here we're getting a follow-up attempt on the #1 signal here in the Raptor. You could just kind of throw that below there. And they kind of blew past me on that. I think we had, no, I was going to say we're looking at a late filter entry here on the Falcon, but we're not. Just a regular trend line touch signal. We are getting very, very close to where the buyers are again, around this whole 67.50 zone. Okay, so there now is the break of that low. Once again, you could just throw a short order below here and wait for the trend resumption. A very simple breakout strategy. Got a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. I better get a stop and play. Okay, I think I'll take it to break even now. Oop, no I won't. screwed around with it too much there. Yeah, there sure was. Mark says decent follow through on that late filter entry signal right up here. So the filter going out of sync, coming back into sync, the trend line never changing color. Quick little move lower, now followed up with a quick little move higher. Oh my gosh, the market is just wild today. I would anticipate buying off of 67.50. In fact, like I said, you could do the same kind of thing as what we were doing. Here's the breakout. So here's the retest. We could look to buy, break higher there. We could look to short a break lower here. I got in a little bit too early on that little hiccup here. So I guess I'd better show you what I'm looking at. So here now is the breakout of the low. We're looking for a retest. We're looking for the sellers either to continue to push the market lower, in which case they'll take out these lows. Here is where the buyers gave up. So if the buyers pick up the trend and overwhelm the sellers, they're going to try to get back up here to the top end of this trading range. That's the logic of it. But the market's just so neutral right now. Oh, way to go, Mark, bringing the A game this morning. He says I was able to catch both late filter entry signals. Okay, this starts to get a little bit more dangerous at this point as we flinch at this low again. There should have been a breakout. The fact that the market is flinching tells me there's still a lot of buyers down here, which makes this trade a little bit more difficult now. But we'll let it ride. No guts, no glory, that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see if I can do a little better with my stops this time. See, so here now the second attempt to break, not as strong. See, what we were looking at here on the initial break, here's the pullback. When the market came down again, it should have not flinched. It should have just gone straight on lower, but it did flinch, which makes the breakout a little bit more questionable. And here we are again, kind of hovering in this whole zone. Bring the break-even trigger up. And Not really happy with the trade so far. I suppose the only good thing right now is that the sellers seem to be managing lower swings, but not by much. Come on, give me that bar. Then I'll know that they're respecting the trend line. I should probably bring my stops in anyhow. Yeah, I had my doubts. I had my doubts the way they responded to that breakout and pullback. Oh well, things slowing down a little bit, so it might be a little bit easier to get on board here. When and if we actually settle into a trend, or even something remotely resembling a trend, well, if these lows hold, if this whole 67.40, 67.50 zone continues to support the market, I would have greater confidence in trying to buy it. Here now, number one signal on the Raptor, the Hawk, the Falcon, still mixed up. We are getting a uh, trend change signal here on the Eagle. So you could kind of throw your trend change signal. Oh, man. I'm just going to start hitting the buy and sell buttons. How many times have they gone past me here today? All right, a bit of a macro pullback now on the hawk. So another buying attempt here and another one going past me before I can set it up. Oh, it's going to be like that, is it? All right. Here now a secondary signal. If the market's going to continue higher, here's just a run-of-the-mill continuation signal that you can try to take advantage of. In spite of all the activity here today, we really haven't moved all that far. Got a trend line touch signal here in the Falcon, so you can do the same thing if you think the market is now in an uptrend, which I think it might be. You could just look to buy above there, although now our trend line falling out of sync, so that nixes that order. Back into the hard edges. Okay. Decent response to the hard edge. Had a number 3 signal here. Now the first micro macro cross higher. I was going to try to stretch out my profit objective a little bit. Risk it back here to the macro line, perhaps. And that now moving into a macro pullback scenario. So we can forget about that. Okay, do we actually have something resembling a trend this time? Here, another first micro macro cross. Wow, and every time I put that on, look at that, it just falls away. And now it's into yellow bars, so that spoils the hawk signal. We are getting another hard edge bounce. It didn't print as such. It must have just been a tick shy. But given how the follow through seems so erratic, I was going to wait for a second push opportunity on that signal anyhow. That would occur right there. Oh man. They have not been playing nice today, not at all. Back to 67.50. A very, very influential number here this morning. Okay, we're getting a bit of a bounce. We're going to get a trend change signal here on the Falcon. We're going to get a number one signal here on the Raptor. We've already got a macro pullback signal slash 4-arrow consolidation forming here on the Hawk. There's the number one signal. I'll risk it back to the hard edge. And there they go the other way. All right, so let's cancel that. We've got a number 3 signal, but it's currently against the ATR if we're using that as a filter. Going to get another trend change signal here in the Falcon and a first micro macro cross here in the Hawk. I would probably set it up and not short it unless it gets below the low. Not a very inviting trade at all, and now it's into yellow bars. Good, so I can cancel that without feeling guilty about it. Getting another number 2 signal. So we got actually a 2-3-2 type setup. One thing you're going to find when the market is like this, where you get these kinds of days, you got to be careful not to overtrade. I'm borderline overtrading here today. Because what happens is the market keeps changing direction so many times, you end up chasing it all over the place. And that's not what you want to do. Sooner or later, everything will align the way it's supposed to, and you will get your high probability trade. But if you spend all your time, flip-flopping your trades, chasing the market back and forth, well, first off, it's going to be expensive because you're going to get stopped out a lot. And secondly, your frustration level is going to go up and your confidence is going to go down. The exact opposites of what you want to be going on. And you can see here they're going to run me out again. Well, that was annoying. I think it's important if you do try counter trend trades, if you're going to do them with single contracts. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least you minimize your risk exposure a little bit. Oh, and I guess this is a good example of why you shouldn't do counter trend trades. I think the two biggest reasons not to do counter trend trades. Number one, of course, is it's a low probability trade. The chances are probably 60-40 that the trade will fail. The good news is that you know exactly where to place your stop. You know exactly when you're wrong. I suppose in hindsight, I could have managed the trade much more aggressively, reduce the loss a little bit. But I think the other problem with counter trend trades is it always blocks you from taking the with trend trade. You start thinking the market has to move the way that it's not inclined to move. Right now, it's inclined to move lower. But because I was stuck in a buy position, I totally missed out on the with trend trade, and you can see everything was in sync here. A nice little number 3 signal, a continuation signal, and just fantastic follow through there. So rather than suck up a loss, I added insult to injury and blocked myself from taking the with trend trade. It's not hard to do to get yourself in the wrong mindset. Yeah, I don't know if Phil is asking, is the volume thin? We're certainly bouncing around a lot, aren't we? More than we should. Yeah, Stephen says that last point was important. Keep reminding us of that. You see how easy it is to forget. Well, now they're slowing again. All right, back to the hard edge again. And now we're just kind of quiet again. Wow, what a day. Okay, getting a little bit more bullish. We may get a trend change signal here. All right. Are we going to get a number one signal now? Everything has slowed down from the way things were. Now all of a sudden things have gone into a very slow sideways grind. Wow. What happened? Where'd everybody go? Things go from just a crazy morning to a very slow sideways grind. Now that we're below 6750, that whole 6750 area should be acting maybe as resistance to the market heading higher. Well, if you were looking for an excuse to get short, the hawk has got the green bar sell signal here. And it looks like that never quite engaged. Huh. All right, back to the hard edge. Yeah, Floyd, you could be right. Floyd says the crude report is at 11 o'clock today. It wasn't yesterday because of the Veterans Day holiday. And he said that could be throwing things off a bit. Oh, thanks, Joel. Joel with the, I keep forgetting about this link. Here, I'll load this up so everybody can see it. So I'll post this link in the window so everybody can have it. There we go. I'll put that in the chat window. Now it's showing the S&P, of course, but the Nasdaq's going to be the same. And yeah, thanks, Joel. You're right. Liquidity very, very low this morning. Why? I don't know, but that would explain some of the slippage, some of the craziness that we're seeing. That's a very helpful little indicator. Thanks for sharing that, Joel. Oh, Mark says I picked up one more late filter entry, actually got some positive slippage. Let's see, Mark's note was a little while ago. Oh, probably this one right here. Yeah, and some decent follow through from that. Oh dear, Joel says we almost hit third world last week on that liquidity indicator. That's odd for this time of the year. But it does explain quite a bit of why the market seems to be behaving the way it is. They're slowly starting to back their way into a corner, though. Back here around the 6750 area. I suspect we're going to see a little bit of a bearish reaction from here because this is been, this whole zone has been very influential this morning. I will not be surprised to see a support and resistance line somewhere near there tomorrow. And depending how they react now to this 67, I'm going to call it 67.50, but just realize the whole zone really goes from 67.40 all the way up here to 67.60. That will determine whether or not this is a change in trend or nothing more than a great big bear flag. So what we should see from here is we should see a rather extended test of the extreme. If this is truly going to be a reversal, then we should see some sort of test of the extreme and evidence that the market's going to try to head higher. Now, this does make for some interesting opportunities. The first being you could just throw a buy order in above that high. It's a little bit aggressive, but you can put a buy order above the high. You could look to short a breakout below the bottom end of the trend line. This will be my last trade here today. All right, we'll get the stops in play. Not quite a hard edge bounce here on the Raptor. Didn't really get any other follow-up signals. It just kind of goes the way the way the market's been leaning today. Okay, got a late filter entry signal here to buy now on the Falcon. So a few things starting to come into sync. We got a 4-arrow consolidation on the Hawk. And I guess I may as well take that trade to break even. The way my morning's been going, there's $100 in profit. Yours for the taking. You can always do the sidewalk test. If you're walking down the sidewalk and you see a $100 bill, do you stop and pick it up? Or do you keep on walking by? Are they going to give me this swing? My entry was a little bit late. Nope. Nope. So like I said, this whole region extends as far as 67.60. You could do it all over again. Same strategy. You're looking to short a breakout below the bottom end of the trend line, looking for that bigger test of the extreme, or perhaps just the reaction to this whole 67.50, 67.60 zone. Stop placement here on this trade is brutal. There's no really good place to put a stop. All right, there they go again. All right, once again, I'm going to chicken out and get my stops to break even. And once again, I should have probably grabbed the $100 while I had it. Mama always said trading stupid. Yeah, I agree. Mark says here stop was a little bit tight. Yeah, it tends to be my nemesis. All right, now I will go with a more aggressive bar high low. I may as well take profit on a trade for a change. Yeah, let's go with the bar high low. Hooray! Hooray! Okay, well, that's probably going to be enough fun for today for me. I think that almost gets me back in the black. Down about $70 or $80 today, plus commissions. I like to think of that as a rounding error, not so much as a losing day. The buyers making a very, very strong stand here. Look at all the activity here today. This was a market open back here. Big move up, bigger move down. Here we are with another move up. We have broken a rather significant swing high. So it makes sense to expect two moves in the direction of the breakout. This was move number one. You can be on the lookout for another excuse to buy. Now that we have seen that breakout. I might leave well enough alone though and not press my luck too much more. Yeah, Mark's thinking could see 68.10 again today or higher. I personally, I think 6,800 is a given. And maybe even 68.50. I would even be a little bit more aggressive than that, 68.50. Why do I say that? Well, let's take a look here at the daily chart. 68.50 is only right here. That's only about halfway in yesterday's trading range. I don't think that's too much of a target. We know there's buying down here. Look at the size of the tail on this thing, followed by a bullish bar. So if the buyers are going to be serious, they got to pick up their game pretty quick. If the sellers get it all the way back down here to 6,600, well, then the buyers are really scrambling. I think that was part of my problem today is I was looking for those buy signals and I avoided all the sells, and of course the market spent a little bit more time heading lower. Yeah, Mark says it's a bigger channel down, that's for sure. I think you're right. It's not really leaning one way or the other right now. That's what's making it so tricky as well. This is the daily chart again. And the problem is there's a couple of ways you can draw this. You can draw it like this. A lot of traders will be looking at it like that and looking for this breakout, and now the market's recovered and they'll say, okay, we're back in the downtrend. Some will be looking at it just as a sideways trading range. The faster, wrong button. The faster traders will be looking at it as a bullish rally. This now the retest or the pullback, and they'll be looking for another bullish rally. In fact, here's a little fun fact. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of ABCD measuring. It's an interesting way to try to forecast where the market may turn. Now, again, as with all things trading related, it works until it doesn't work. But let's say you focus on this point right here. This is beginning of this is A, the swing point is B. The logic dictates that the market, because it moved this far, will have a tendency to try to move that distance again. So you wait for the reaction, and then you duplicate that point. And there's point C, and this now becomes point D. And you can see how close that actually worked. It's quite fascinating sometimes how well that can actually play out. So by the same notion, if this is our AB point, if this is where the market's going to turn, then this would be our forecast for the move. Of course, we don't know if the market is turning at this point yet. But it doesn't matter. Even if we figure out the market is bullish somewhere here around 7,000, we still have a long ways to go. If that's one of those times that this rule works. Oh, the joys of trading. But interesting little thing, a little market geometry, if you will, to bear in mind. All right, gang. If you're going to keep trading today, like I said, I think the market's kind of getting itself in a little bit of a bind. A move above 67.80, above this swing high, definitely a buy. I would buy that without hesitation. Otherwise, shoot, a retest of the low? Not quite. I don't think we'll get all the way back down here, but certainly a move back. 67.50, very, very likely, maybe even 67.40. But I remain cautiously bullish. We'll see you on Friday. Be careful. Talk to you then. Bye for now.